Hey everyone, it's Ingrid.
And Carlos.
And we're back and we're just wrapping this up. One of the key things that we want to say as a takeaway is that this is all about cultivating a healthy relationship, and there's no playbook, and it's coming from our experience. And so the points that we're making, please take the time to go through your own inner assessment, awareness, whatever it is that you need to do. And the accountability is really big. So the final piece to this puzzle in this moment is that we create toxicity when we are insistent on being right. So our need to be right creates toxicity in our relationships. So we're not open. And then the final of that, the second part, is that when we do find ourselves in an argument, the person could possibly be expressing their need for you, their affection for you, their intimacy for you, and it's just coming out in a very negative way. They're just acting out as an adult, and they're being they're asking for it in a not so healthy way, right? So we finished the last video talking about claiming for love, and so those are the final two pieces that we're saying. Let's how do you let go of the need to be right, and how do you recognize sometimes that the person really is just acting out? If you're a parent, you understand what I'm saying about your child having a tantrum. Well, we do have tantrums as adults because we want the person in our lives. I know it's so crazy because it's the complete opposite, right? They're
We're
doing
thinking
things that's
about the tantrum.
yeah.
And the way we learn how to behave,
Yeah.
not psychologists, the way we learn how to behave is whatever way that give us the results that we expect. I'm going to say like this.
Yeah.
So, at a given point, when let's say 3 years old, you have tantrums. You develop tantrums. We go to that phase. Every kid does that, right?
Yes.
And if you as a parent, if your parents, their parents, they don't know how to address those situations. Probably, what is going to happen is the kid learns that having a tantrum works.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we push the boundaries.
We push the
as
boundaries,
kids, we're gonna see what
yes,
can we get away with.
Because of your parents are afraid to set boundaries because they don't like the embarrassment, whatever is the reason. The thing is that you know that it works.
Yeah.
So that is a learned behavior that was confirmed, 100% confirmed.
Yes.
That works.
The tantrum is okay. That
because
that's what
finally,
you're
at the
learning.
end of the day, it's giving you what you need.
Yes.
So you are going to have kids of 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 35 years old. They are continue having tantrums.
And
Perhaps they are not going to fall to the ground,
yeah.
but it's exactly the same behavior, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it works.
Yeah, and you need to recognize it. You need to recognize when you're having a tantrum and when the other person's having a tantrum. So that is, it's a very subtle point, a subtle detail in the midst of the conflict, but it is part of the learned behavior. It's part of the strategy.
Yes,
some
and
people, they know that they're like Carlos said, they've learned that it works. So they're going to use the tantrum as part of the ways to...
Not consciously, right? But you know that if you have behaved like that since you are 3 years old, why you're going to stop now, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because it has been working fine up to now. When I'm always crying or swearing or whatever, I receive what I was asking for.
Yep.
So why is not going to work now?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use
And
it with my partner
the
also.
reason why it doesn't work now is because your partner is not your parent. So your partner is there, not there to parent you.
Perhaps they don't answer to that kind of threats in the same way. I have a,
But the main thing is that it's you're not going to have you're not going to have the results that you want in the sense that your parent gives you some type of structure, hopefully. Maybe not. Just going to say it like that. The parent gives you structure, and so you come out of the tantrum and you receive what you want. If your partner submits to the tantrum, it is going to become a cumulative resentment eventually in the relationship because it breeds toxicity. It's not. You're doing something that's manipulative. It's coercive.
it is. It is.
Right.
It is.
And it's not a
The
honest.
fact is that your parents and your partner, whatever is in the relationship, they are aligned in the same way of behaving the same way, reacting in the same way. So you continue doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What happens is that when we are adults, we are kind of, I want to say like this, we're more prone to close to change our perceptions. Sometimes you get sick of people having tantrums and say, I cannot bear
Done.
this.
Yeah.
Up
Your
to
parents
here.
can put up with it. Your
Yes,
parents,
your parents
right?
put up, but they have time for a while, right? And your partner perhaps doesn't have to say, okay,
Yeah, they lose
I'm
faith.
gonna. If you cry out loud, if you cry like crazy, a few times, okay, I'm gonna pay attention. But the fifth time, perhaps I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go for a coffee at the bar. You do your tantrum. I'm gonna be back
It
later.
loses the value. It starts to become like the boy who cried wolf or something.
Exactly,
It
because
loses the value.
as a tool, it starts losing the effectiveness, right?
Yeah. So it is to me it's along that lines of a form of toxicity. So you want to
It is.
catch that from the relationship. And then the other point we wanted to talk about was the fact that being right, how that creates toxicity, right? And in that sense, the being right is you having you're being inflexible. You're not allowing the other person's perspective to have value when you believe that your way is the only way that the relationship should go in, especially argument after argument, and you want to say that nope, it's your way. That's the perspective. It's a very it leaves the relationship very much that the person's just following along, and at some point, similar to the tantrums, they're going to get tired and they're just going to walk away. So they don't feel like they're being heard. So what's the point? What's the point of staying in a relationship like that?
Right? Yeah. I was up to say that is your way or the subway.
The highway?
The highway.
Or the subway?
Yeah. You need some kind of validation related to what we were talking before, right? It's about boundaries and things that you need some kind of validation, and you need the validation from your partner.
Yeah.
That's why you're saying it has to be my way, and you want the other person to submit to your way.
Yeah.
Right?
Nicely put, because it is, sometimes we don't even realize we're looking for validation. We just think this is the way it's always been done. And
what we were saying at the end of the previous one, there is a claim for love there.
Yeah.
The validation, if I'm asking you to support me on this and do it in my way, is because I'm claiming, please support me on this way.
Yeah.
And I don't have a better way. I don't know. I didn't learn a better way
Of
to express myself.
Yeah.
Because of whatever is my story, the story of my life,
Yeah.
that I never learned how to express myself, right?
Yeah.
So the only way that I know is that I'm going to be a scandal,
Yes.
a tantrum. I'm going to develop a tantrum right now if you are not supporting me.
Yeah. And it's a tough place to figure out how to be right and allow a situation to just continue to flow because it doesn't affect your core values. And there's no need to like claim any kind of space and be firm. And then there's the being right, because genuinely you're having a sense of you're lacking a sense of belonging, and you're struggling with insecurity, and you don't feel like you have a voice, and you have a lack of confidence. It's so complex that your partner doesn't know, or the people around you that you love, they don't know that that is a cry for a deeper sense of belonging.
Yeah,
and
something that
acceptance.
we talk because of a different subject is we try to differentiate between emotional from rational.
Yes,
Many times
yes,
we do
yes,
that,
yes,
right? Because,
yes,
okay, the tantrum and the need of from validation
yes,
and the claiming, and that's an emotional stuff, right?
yes, yes,
So we don't
yes.
get to the rational, even if I'm going to say like this. To us happens like very often that we mix emotional with rational. So our reason
As
why,
human
as
beings,
human beings,
we
right?
mix. So
My
we,
reason why is the way I feel.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, right? That's clear. And the way I feel is a feeling,
Yeah,
and
and
the
it's our
reason why it has to be come from your mind, right? So those are two things. They go hand in hand, but they are
yeah,
not
yeah,
in the same category, right? They are
yeah.
not in the same league. They are playing two different games.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are developing a tantrum and you need validation, you need some love, you need some
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
heart,
Yeah, yeah.
heart-to-heart connection. And if you want to be right, is there is something on your rational that really you have to explain to the other person, or you are having a need, an emotional need to be right? Yes. So
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
let's try to
The
clarify
complexity.
that
Yeah.
and be open on, both be open on trying to identify where are you coming from.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was just thinking, as you're saying it, I'm thinking, yes, you have to explore it a little bit. And at times you might have to explore it within yourself. You might have to explore it with yourself and the other person. And it's okay if it takes a few conversations to get to clarity.
It's so
Because
interesting
that is just, it's
because
so full of so many layers.
exactly, at the end of the day, it's a learning process, right?
Yeah.
So we are trying to understand each other and trying to
Yes.
understand the complexity of a human being.
Yes.
That is not me. I cannot understand myself. If I try to understand you, I on
It's
top of
even,
that,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not even to understand myself. That's why we are arguing.
Yeah.
Because if I'm able to understand myself, I'm going to say that this is the boundaries, this is the limitation. I can explain perfectly clear what I want, and
We're good.
we're solved.
Yeah.
So, since we develop to the level of our own incapacity, that's why we are dealing with this. So I'm trying to be fine with having a few conversations, because you are learning from each other.
Yeah.
There is, I think there is not a better way, more caring way, more nurturing way to learn from each other and from your own weaknesses and from your own failures. I can learn about myself.
Yeah.
The way we react and the way that sometimes we were talking about compromising. On the compromising, there is so much learning about our own limits.
Yeah.
Because if I have to let go something, I have to have a clear understanding what is a need, what is a wish, what is something nice to have. I have to have a very clear understanding of myself. So I'm trying to understand you, but at the same time, I am understanding so much more about myself.
Oh, nice.
So that it's an amazing adventure to understand each other.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, and you have this opportunity. Don't blow up the opportunity. in the argument, in the
Yes,
in the
don't
fight,
throw the baby
because
out with the
there is a
bathwater.
golden. A friend was saying you are sitting on gold. You are sitting on gold there. That is the possibility to explore and to expand both of you in a way that it never happens before because
Yeah.
you are arguing about. Okay,
Yes.
so
So again, we want to reinforce that that arguing has the potential to create a healthier relationship.
intimacy, you said also.
Intimacy is one of the list of things, but the overall is that it creates a healthier relationship,
Yes.
right? And previous in maybe 2 or 3 videos prior, we talked about the list. I think I even said the list the other video, but the main thing as we're sharing, coming to the end of this particular series, it's the fact that don't lose sight of the goal of having a healthy relationship. Because really that's it. We're dissecting it, we're breaking it down, we're getting into the details of the ingredients.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
I will say, what is the objective of this project?
exactly.
Right? Yes. Don't as always, like in a project, don't miss the, don't lose the
Lose sight of, or
lose sight. Say, what are you aiming to, right?
yes, yes,
Just
yes.
keep
yes.
that in mind. What
Yes,
you are aiming.
yes, yes.
We want to get through this together.
Yeah,
And becoming a better version, if we want, a different version that is able to deal with that kind of stuff. So we're not going to be having the same problems again. We are going to have different problems.
This is the whole, well, and then the thing is, because we're going to go down the road a couple of times, we start recognizing.
Exactly.
We start recognizing, it's 2 things, what Carlos is
Very
saying.
nice.
We recognize better who we are in a conflict, and we also recognize the other person in terms of how they respond to even or I could say who they are in a conflict, because that's a different version of ourselves. The happy, easy-go-lucky, easygoing version of ourselves. Okay, we know that, and that was also too the motivation for the rules of engagement.
Yes.
Because when everything's fine, we don't need rules. You need rules to figure out that you're in a happy mood? No. But when things are really going down a rough patch or bad path, that's when we need to have some structure. That's when it's even more important, right?
Well, what is important to me also is that fact that we kind of acknowledgement that thanks to the other person, we are able to go through this path of
that's the
learning.
gratitude, the fact of that, the gratitude I'm hearing.
It's a gratitude because I learned so much about myself by having arguments with you.
Likewise.
But it was a unique
Likewise,
opportunity. It wouldn't happen before. It didn't happen before.
Yeah,
right?
Likewise.
in previous opportunities. But we found a way to make it, let's say, to grow from there, to learning, a learning path that I didn't find before in that way.
Yeah.
And that's not because of it's the kind of a quality of the relationship that was encouraging.
Yes,
the learning path.
Yeah.
I want to say that we were both, fortunately, we were both on the path of learnings about ourselves. So, if you are on the path of learning about ourselves, yourself, you're gonna watch a movie and you're gonna learn something.
Yeah.
You're gonna read a book and you're gonna
learn something.
You cross someone
because you're looking for it.
You're looking for ways. And you learn something. Anywhere is a good opportunity, right? So this one was a good opportunity, but we were also able to figure it out, right? Say it's not about myself. It's not. I'm not taking this personally. What is she saying? What is the message?
And we mutually agreed that we were going to cultivate, nurture, create a healthy relationship. It was a mutual agreement, It took a little while for us to even make sense of what does that mean, because Carlos shared in the other video, you know, everyone has different, we have different perspectives. Like, oh, what's the over understood commitment? Okay, but their commitment was, or his commitment was, okay, you're going to be home at 6, and her commitment is you're going to have dinner for me, in the previous video. So that kind of like, what does it mean to have a healthy relationship? We had to work through, again, like a project.
And
We had to
that's
get all
perhaps
the
one of the first steps that you do.
breakdown. What was that?
Work breakdown
Work
structure.
breakdown structure.
Yes, but that is one of the first perhaps step that you do, like in a project. On the planning is what it means for you, right? Brainstorming. What it means for you.
What does it mean for you? A healthy relationship.
What is
so key.
Yes.
So key.
So, and it doesn't have to be a structure. Just brainstorm that and the things that you want.
Everybody
the things
share
that you would like to.
what they.
Okay.
Yes.
And like same thing that happens in projects. Start putting one together. What goes first?
What matches?
After.
Prioritizing.
Yes. Our dependencies. This depends on that. That's why do you think on about? Why is your take about this? Why you say that it's not so important? Because to me it was priority.
Exactly.
Right?
All of
for
that.
you it's not priority.
Yeah. But what I liked, eventually, what was nice when we started to individually think about what was a healthy relationship for us, and then what we started to think about, what's a healthy relationship as a couple. So when we started to have our individual list, and then we started to have, what does it look like, aspirations. We've never been to that mountaintop, so what's the aspiration of this healthy relationship as a couple? We started to cross-reference, right? We started to match our points, my point and his point, and then what's the relationship point. So it's a little bit of manipulating not manipulating, but moving our points around to the extent that eventually we came up with, I would say, maybe 5 to 10 key things. We never really sat down and listed it, but it eventually started to weave itself within our lifestyle. So, you know, having conversations, being mindful of any kind of emotional thing that didn't feel good, we addressed it right away. Making a structure of, okay, the rules of engagement, that exit strategy that we got rid of. Like, we started to, it was a little bit of making our way through.
Yes,
that,
it
right?
is a learning curve. It is a learning, and you have to be willing to embark on that learning curve.
Yeah.
But it's a mutual agreement, and that works when both are on the same boat.
Yeah,
you have to be both on the same boat, willing
yeah.
to leave some stuff behind, and willing to embrace a different journey, right?
And Carlos keeps saying it, like, leave stuff behind. It's scary to let go of the identity that you know yourself to be when you start that relationship. It's very scary. But it's one of those things that has to become a risk. Take a risk, take a chance. Because the relationship has to have a higher value than the person you showed up as when you first started the relationship.
Yeah, but there has to be an understanding of the worth of a relationship.
That too. Yeah.
Yes, and the thing that you like it is about feeling like a team, right? So
yes, the partnership. And for a long time, I was always saying, "Oh, this is my partner. This is my partner."
Yeah.
So that was something like, that was new for me.
Yes, I feel that way in the sense that it's not longer just myself. I do have my own objectives and wishes and desires, and but that's kind of a part of me, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't give me fulfillment, like thinking in terms of a team.
As
On the
much
partner.
of a
Yes,
it doesn't give you
the fulfillment that gives me thinking in terms of team.
a team as a team. Yes, yeah, I agree.
Because that's another part of myself that I love to develop or to have developed
Yeah.
in time, and I want to enjoy that.
Yes. So that is where we're going to end.
Yes.
Because I think the partnership and being in a team, I think that is the pinnacle of why we're sharing this information, because it's worth it. We were able to get here, and we're sharing with you as best as we've been able to how you can get here too, where you're in a couple situation, or as you plan to be in a couple situation. If you're struggling in a crisis right now as a couple, that it is possible to get to that place of teamwork, with effort, with some of these strategies that we're sharing with you. And I know Carlos has said it earlier in some of the other videos. Share share your comments, share what's going on with you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, yes.
Right?
What are you going through, or things that are not clear, or how that kind of apply to your specific case? As if we read comments, and
We're able to answer.
we can make a video about specific cases that are interesting to talk about, to break down in some way, if it is possible for us.
Yes.
It would be a pleasure to do that.
To help you out. So subscribe, share.
Yeah. And comments.
And comments. So it's Ingrid and
Carlos again.
Yes, and we're happy to have you with us on Sugar Beach, and we're going to talk to you soon.
Yep.
Meet us at the beach. All right.